Hello everyone, today is 18th of November. My name is Sahil and welcome to the newspaper analysis. Friends, let's have a look on today's GS folder. So today we will be taking a quote from the Woodrow Wilson, the former US president and the chief architect of the League of Nations. Now guys, Woodrow Wilson had said, there is no higher religion than human service. To work for the common good is the greatest creed. Now, guys, this particular idea is similar to Gandhiji's idea, where Gandhiji said that best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of the others. As well as a similar thing has also been said by Swami Vivekananda, where he said that service to mankind is the service to God. Hence, guys, whenever the civil servant's pursuit is to be determined, then whether the common good is being met or not, it is the basic litmus test. Now, guys, this particular quote you can directly utilize in the GS paper number 4, where the ethics into the public administration and the foundational values for the civil servants have been defined. So, guys, that's all about this particular thing. And now let's take up the newspaper analysis. Now, guys, first of all, let's take the overview of the articles that we will be discussing today. Guys, you can download the PDF of the articles from our Telegram channel. The link has been provided into the description. Now, the first news we can see here is with respect to the fake news mechanism, which has been asked by the Supreme Court. So we will be seeing this entire thing. Then, guys, the other news are with respect to the political instances. We don't need to look into this particular matter. Then, guys, moving forward, here we can see that the Delhi High Court has asked the status of the missing circus animals. So with respect to GS paper number 4, we will be seeing this issue. Then, guys, the other pages, the regional news are there, not very important for our exam. Then, guys, on to the editorial page, we can see here that the vaccine which has been made by the Moderna has been discussed. Then, guys, this particular article, it is talking about the Biden who is coming to assume the office. However, guys, we had already seen that as he will be assuming the office, only then we will be seeing that what is actually going to happen. Then, guys, this article is a very good article onto the victim jurisprudence. So with respect to GS paper number 2, we'll be seeing this entire issue. Then, guys, this particular article, it is talking about the reforms into the Asian economy which is needed, and with respect to the India also certain suggestions will be seeing. Then, guys, this particular article, it is talking about the constitutional failure on of the governor as well as the speaker's post. So some of that issues will be seeing here. Then, guys, moving forward, this entire page, it is having some political news, not important. However, here we can see that the study has been conducted onto the online education, so we can utilize such data. Then, guys, moving forward, so here we can see that the Prime Minister has addressed the 12th BRICS Summit. So we will see what important messages have been given here. Then, guys, moving forward, so here we can see that there is a drop into the women labor force participation rate, and for that NHRC has constituted a panel. Then, guys, the showcase page, not important for our exam. Onto the world page also, nothing important has been there. The Trump is exploring the options to attack the Iran's nuclear site, but it has been just said that it will be can invite a broader war, so it has not been going to be taken up. Then, guys, onto the world's page also, nothing important has been given. After that, there's a sports page. So, guys, that's it. And now let's discuss these articles into the detail. Now, guys, taking up the first news article. So basically here what had happened, the Chief Justice of India had asked the central government that whether there is any functional machinery to curb the nuances of the fake news which had increased so much into the recent past. Now, taking up this matter from the very scratch, so we had seen that as the pandemic began, the Tablighi Jamaat members were accused of spreading the COVID 19 virus, and it was selectively reported by various news channels. And guys, it has been seen that after that particular incident, there have other kind of incidents also, but onto them the reporting was not as intense as it was onto that Tablighi Jamaat incident. So, guys, it was accused that the news channels are spreading the propaganda, they are many a times spreading the fake news, and now it is a high time that their conduct should be curbed. Now, guys, when we talk in the context of India, there is the Cable TV Network Act 1995, which was meant to curb the fake or basically the ill motivated broadcast onto the cable TVs. Now, guys, the Chief Justice of India has asked that whether the Cable TV Network Act can also be implemented onto the TV broadcast which are happening right now via the signals and not via the cables. So simply it has been asked that the section number 19 of the Cable TV Act, which says that some of the broadcast can be banned, whether it can be implemented. Moreover, guys, it has also been asked from the central government that what is the legal remedy, what is basically the quantum of punishment which can be imposed if there are certain fake news. Moreover, it has been said that if there is no adequate mechanism with the government, then they will be forced to decentralize this particular menace of controlling the fake news to the outside agencies, and as soon as possible the government should come out with some safeguard so that the integrity of the news broadcast can be maintained. Now guys, this is one incident into this particular direction, and if we go little bit beyond to this particular scope, we had recently seen that the responsible role is not being played by the media, and media has turned into a kind of a yellow journalism where they are more fascinated into the sensationalism, and often the facts are not reported. So guys, this is a high time that the role of media should also to be thought about. So guys, this is all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article pertains to the animal rights, and it is an important attachment for our GS paper number 4 as well as in GS paper number 2. Also, such kind of thing could be relevant. So, guys, what had happened? Basically, we had seen that the pandemic when began, the lockdown was to be imposed. And before the lockdown, guys, there were 28 circus into the country which were functional, and the 740 animals were registered with these 28 circuses. So guys, basically the animals are to be registered with the Animal Welfare Board of India. Now, after the lockdown has been eased, the Animal Welfare Board of India audited the circuses and found that only 28 animals, the record has been found. So a question is coming that where the remaining animals are, because it was seen that during the lockdown the circuses faced a large number of losses, and there were even reports that the animals were starving. Now, guys, even if we see this particular story, then even the Animal Welfare Board of India had surveyed just 19 circuses out of 28. But still, guys, there the quantum of animals which have been found, it is even very much less. So, moved by this particular thing, the Delhi High Court had now directed the Animal Welfare Board of India as well as the Central Zoo Authority that they should inquire the entire matter and should reveal that where the animals are, because guys, as I have already told you that they were on to the brink of the starvation. Now guys, as we are discussing about this particular question, see, it has often been said that the moral progress of a nation can be ascertained into the way the animals of that particular nation are being treated. So guys, the comparison of the animal treatment and moral progress is a very important aspect which could be asked into our GS paper number 4. And if such a question is being asked, then guys, such a kind of a reference can be utilized into your answers. Moreover, guys, into the applied ethics part, there is the environmental ethics, and into the environmental ethics, the ecology as well as the wildlife is an important pillar. So guys, there the wild animals treatment also again becomes a important thing, so into the reference we can utilize it. So that's it, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Hindu newspaper, and it is important for our GS paper number 2, that is the jurisprudence or the justice for the victims. Now, guys, the article says that in India, our criminal justice system has been very weak, and often the protection for the victims is not given any attention. The victims' protection is left at their own. They have not been provided the proper justice, proper compensation, and proper assistance. And guys, as India is a welfareist state, such kind of weak criminal justice system is not into the welfare of the India. Moreover, guys, into the past few years, whatever the reforms had even come, they have come onto the initiative of the judicial. The parliament or the legislature had particularly very weak or unresponsive into this particular thing. So, guys, it has been suggested into the article that there is a need that the pre-crime conceptualization and the post-crime conceptualization should be focused. Now, what does they mean? Pre-crime conceptualization means that even before the crime has been committed, the victim should be safeguarded rewarded, and the post crime means that after the crime has been committed, the fast justice or the speedy justice needs to be given. Now guys, the basically in India we see that the pre crime conceptualization is very much rare. There is no vulnerability mapping of the victims, there is no risk mapping so that the preventive steps can be taken, whereas the post war conceptualization is also very much weak. Now guys, victim is just seen as a mere witness which will be helping into the conviction. Apart from this particular thing, often the safeguards are not provided to the victims. Now, guys, it has been said that the victims are provided a respite under the approach of Article number 39A. That is, under the DPSP, where it has been said that the equal justice and the free legal aid to be provided. Rather, the need is that under Article number 14 and Article number 21A, as a matter of fundamental right, they need to provided the safeguards. After that, it has been seen that the complaint mechanism is also very much weak, and often the complaints are not registered. And this is happening even after the section number 154.3 of the CRPC says that it is mandatory that on all the instances the FIR is to be registered, and if there is any failure, then basically the officer can be held responsible. So guys, much more kind of basically substantial backing is need to be given to such kind of provisions. Then guys, it has been said that into the criminal justice system the victim participation is very low. They are just being called to be a witness, and into this entire procedure of the trial they are not involved or given a meaningful participation. Then guys, it has been said that there is also a need that the right to information is to be provided to the victim with respect to the stages of the trial, with respect to the role that is being played by the different stakeholders, and what are the expectations, whether the trial might be settling into the favor or not. So all such kind of things, information needs to be provided. After that guys, the right to protection has been talked about. It has been said that often the custody matters, bail matters, parole matters need to be intimated to the victim, because it has been seen that out of a revenge, when a person accused comes out onto the bail, he had attacked onto the victim. Now guys, even this intimation is to be provided. It has been there into the section number 15A into the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Act, but it is needed that not only here but in all the matters the intimation needs to be provided. Moreover guys, the victim protection scheme is also there which safeguards the victims, but it has become a kind of a non-functional thing, so this also needs to be revived. After that guys, here a reference has been given about the 1985 United Nations Declaration of Basic Principles of Justice for victims of crime and abuse of power. Here the rights have been provided, that is the right to seek the medical help, psychological help, financial help, etc. But in India, it has been observed that these rights are not provided into the substance. So, into this direction, the one stop centers or the NGOs should be roped in so that such medical, physiological, psychological, financial help can be provided. Then, guys, there is the victim compensation scheme. See, victim compensation is paying for the losses that has been held to the victim. And guys, even under the section 357A of the CRPC, it has been provided that the victim compensation scheme needs to be there. It has even been made onto the paper, but actually non-functional. So again, the revitalization of the victim compensation scheme is needed to be there. Then guys, there the next thing we talk is about the right to restitution versus right to compensation. Now, right to restitution means that a person who had faced the harm, his original position needs to be restored, and right to compensation is to that the accused needs to provide the compensation. Now often the right to restitution has just been assumed the right to compensation, and no attention onto this right to restitution is being given. So high time is that this particular right also needs to be recognized separately. So guys, these are all such kind of suggestions and all such kind of problems that we are facing into the victim protection. And guys, a high probability on such kind of static questions has been there into the past few years into the GS paper number 2. So guys, please keep all these things into your mind. So that's it, and now we'll be moving to the next. Now guys, Taking up the next article. This article is important for our GS paper number 3 under the economic reforms and economic shifts. See, uh, as we started with the pandemic, there was a new trend which was coming into the economic circles, that is the relocation trend. It was said that the firms will now be leaving the China, but actually we had said that if some considerable relocation is being talked about, it has happened into the textile and apparels, and only the Bangladesh and the Sri Lanka were the two countries where the relocation happened. Now, guys, other firms into the tech sector, into the capital goods sector, or other kind of manufacturing, they completely not favored the relocation, but they came out with us other alternative, that is the China plus one strategy, in which they said that they will not be completely dependent on to China. They will also be exploring one more destination, and now the fight turned to be this plus one. Now, guys, the question is coming that first of all, why China plus one and not the complete relocation? So it has been said that China is indispensable, because China, in the business starting process in China is very easy. China is nimble and fast. Guys, just see that the Wuhan lockdown happened, but as how early the China has recovered. So recovery in China is very fast. The industries, they are resilient into the China, so therefore they don't want to move away from China. Third is that, guys, into the China, the manufacturers had invested so much of the money in building their supply chain ecosystem, and now they don't want to leave that entire supply chain ecosystem just because of one pandemic. So therefore they are not leaving the China. So therefore the entire relocation is not there, but the China plus one has come. Now, guys, here before proceeding forward, I would like to give you a reference of one book which was written by the Gunnar Myrdal, who was the Nobel Prize laureate, and the name of the book was The Asian Drama. This book was written in 1968, and at that point of time it was said that the Southeast Asia is a land of pessimism, where no development, no kind of economic boom can come. But today, see the Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia is a thriving hub of the export. It has become the factory to the world. So, guys, why I have give this particular reference? Because the Asian drama, which was called in 1968, it has turned upside down, and now, guys, in 2022 a new Asian drama will again be happening. Why? Because now the RCEP, that is the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership, has been signed, and at the same time China plus one strategy is also going on. So, guys, much lopsided developments are happening here. Now it is being expected that the investments will be coming into the new countries such as the Vietnam, Indonesia, Bangladesh, and India. And into this new Asian drama, the India needs to identify its proper place. So, guys, three prescriptions have been given that what India can do so that into this Asian drama they can have a kind of a proper place. Number one, it has been said that India needs to focus on to the public investment. According to the IMF, it has been said that if 1% increase equivalent to GDP is done into the public investment, then it can increase 2.7% increase into the overall GDP, 10% increase by the public into the public investment, and 1.2% improvement into the employment. So, guys, much more public investment is needed, but the problem is such that government is having a very weak capacity right now for the public investment. Moreover, the public investment needs to be of high quality. High quality means that it is not too much stretching the balance sheets of the government, and it is not having a negative impact onto the private sector. Second, guys, it has been said that now the new phenomena is coming, that is the RCEP, and with the coming of the RCEP, two things will be there. One, the Walmart effect will come. Now, guys, the Walmart effect means that whenever the Walmart or such kind of a big players come into a economy, into a particular sector, then, guys, two things happen. Number one, the consumers, they get the better quality products, better quality goods, and they increase even their demand. But on to the second hand, guys, the small level businesses, they go down and ultimately they die. Moreover, guys, the Walmart, when they are hiring so many of the people, often it has been seen into the USA that they hire people just at the minimum wage level, and, guys, into the coming course of years, even the wages also decline. So this is the Walmart effect which comes. And now guys, connecting it with the RCEP. So guys, if India wants to participate into the RCP, or if wants to take the advantage, then guys, much investment will be coming into the India, and a Walmart effect will be coming. So guys, at that point of time, India needs to be very careful that how this decline in wages is not there. So this particular thing also needs to be focused. After that guys, switching effect is also coming. What is the switching effect? Now as the RCEP is being signed, China plus one is coming, and all such things are coming. Now the developed countries will also be looking forward for the new importing partners. And if India also wants to be a meaningful importing partner for the developed countries, we need to focus on to the competitiveness of our products. So guys, it has been said into this particular context that India needs to focus onto these two trends also. After that guys, the India need to focus onto the women labor force participation rate as well. Now it has been seen that in 2017 and 18, the women labor force participation rate has declined to 23.3%, which is very low when compared to the OECD countries. Guys, if the women labor workforce also participates, then even more economic growth can come. So three prescriptions for India: bring the women on board. Secondly, just see as how the negative implications of the Walmart effect can be ignored. Third, use the switching effect more constructively. And after that, improve the public investment. So guys, this was this entire article. I hope that you have understood. And now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article has been taken from the Hindu, and it is important for our GS paper number 2. Now, this article is majorly talking about the constitutional role of the governors with respect to deciding the death penalties or the mercy petitions. Now, guys, what has happened? Recently, the governor of Tamil Nadu has withheld the mercy petition which was sent by one of the person who was involved into the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case. And actually this petition has been sent for so long, but nothing meaningful decision has came out into this particular direction. Now the Supreme Court has very vocally said in 2018 that when such kind of petitions are concerned, the governor as well as the president should take the decision as soon as possible. By the way guys, as we are talking about the pardon, under article number 72 the president can give the pardon, and under article number 161 the governor can give the pardon into any kind of cases. Now guys, as we are talking about the pardon cases, the Supreme Court into the Maru Ram versus Union of India in 1981 had actually said that when the pardons are concerned, actually the president or the governor are not required to give the pardon, but they are just required to act onto the direction of the center government and the state government. So basically, whenever the pardon is being talked about, it is a direction to the center and state that they should decide the matter. Either you reject it or you accept it. Just don't give a kind of an inordinate delay, because it has a kind of a dehumanizing effect. Even guys, into the Shatrughan Chauhan versus Union of India case, the Supreme Court said that the due process of law is intrinsic to the constitution, and even the convicts also have this due process of law until their last breath. And the here into this particular case only, the Supreme Court even used its power under article number 32 and commuted the death sentence of 15 of the convicts, because it was observed that for so much of the time there was inordinate delay, that their petitions were not decided, and it has led to a kind of a dehumanizing effect. So the precedence was said that as soon as the petition comes, the decision has to be made either positive or negative. But guys, again we are saying that no decision is being made. Now guys, when such kind of things are being talked about, similar kind of attitude has also been seen with respect to the speaker in deciding the anti-defection law charges. Often the no decision is taken, and guys, it was even said that the speaker's office is beyond the writ of mandamus. You cannot ask him that he had to perform his duty. But guys, in 2020 again a monumental thing happened, where the Supreme Court into the Keshav Meghchandra Singh case decided that the speaker also have a responsibility to dispose this case into a time bound manner, and even a 4 week time has to be given to decide onto the disqualifications into the matter of the ADL. So guys, this particular article is actually throwing a light that how the constitutional roles are not being fulfilled by some of the authorities such as the governor as well as the speaker, and they think that they don't have any answerability into this particular matter. So guys, this is all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next. Now, guys, this particular article, it is talking about the new vaccine which has been developed by the US pharmaceutical MNC Moderna, and they had said that their vaccine is 94.5% effective against the COVID-19. Now, guys, basically, this particular vaccine has been discussed here, and that is not actually very important because by the time we will be writing the exam, much more development would have happened into this particular case, and this particular thing will not be that very much relevant. But guys, one important thing is that the Moderna vaccine which has also been made, it is based onto the mRNA platform. And guys, the mRNA platform already we had just discussed few days back, that is onto the 11th of the November, when we were discussing the Pfizer vaccine. So guys, there this entire thing, the positive, negative, the science and tech angle has already been discussed. You can visit the 11th November newspaper discussion and you can see this entire attachment. So guys, just that's it, and now we'll be moving into the next article. Guys, this particular article, it is important for our GS paper number 2 as some reference point into the topics of the education. Guys, what has happened, a study has been done by the Azim Premji University with respect to the status of the online education and the impacts it is bringing, and the name of the study is the myths of the online education. Now into this particular study, guys, certain findings are there which you can write into your answer. Number one, 60% of the people who were surveyed, they said that they were not able to access the online education. Main reason was the non availability of the devices, and many a times even the interface of the applications was such that there were the using problems in using these applications. Moreover, guys, the disabled children, they had a huge problem that because the apps which have been developed there, the disability angle has not been considered very thoroughly. After that, guys, 90% of the parents said that they have been frustrated by the online education and they want to send their children back. Moreover, guys, 70% of the parents were also not having the good attitude with the education, and they said that online classes are not effective. And not only the student and the parents are frustrated, even the teachers are frustrated, and 90% of the teachers said that they are not into the capacity to form any meaningful assessment whether the children are getting the concept or not. So guys, this is the status of the online education, and therefore, guys, if even any question comes onto this particular line as a criticism, we can quote this particular report. So guys, that's it, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article talks about the National Human Rights Commission, which has noted that the drop has been there into the women labor force participation. And now, guys, the NHRC, they are saying that they will be coming out with the ministry-wise recommendation that what needs to be done so that the women labor force participation rate increases. Now, guys, there are certain suggestions which are coming. That is, the focus need to be given onto the care economy where the women can provide a meaningful reform. Then the job guarantee is also being suggested. However, guys, ultimately what are the suggestions that will be coming when the report will be submitted? So just wait for a few days and then we will be seeing all these suggestions. So guys, that's all about this particular article, and now we'll be moving to the next article. Now, guys, this particular article pertains to the address made by the Prime Minister onto the 12th BRICS summit which had just held. Now, first of all, when we talk about the BRICS, guys, BRICS stands for the Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Now, originally, this particular organization was conceived as the BRIC, that is, a South Africa was not there. And guys, the idea for this particular thing was conceived in 2006, and the first BRICS summit actually happened in 2009 into the Russia, and at that point of time South Africa was not there. However, guys, in 2010 the South Africa finally joined the BRICS, and after that it has turned into the BRICS. Now, guys, as we are talking, 42% of the world population is living into the BRICS countries, and 32% of the world GDP onto the PPP terms is devoted by the BRICS countries. So, guys, BRICS is a very kind of a big and meaningful organization. Now, guys, as the summit had happened, the Prime Minister had pushed certain key issues. First of all, it was the issue of the terrorism, as how the terrorism has been the number one humanitarian crisis, and how all the BRIC members should come together and should innovatively deal with the terrorism. So, guys, after this particular thing, the next was discussed was the Russian strategy, where the Russia is very actively propagating into the counter-terrorism and had appreciated Russia. Moreover, guys, the Prime Minister also said that the national security advisors from all all the BRICS nations should come together and should discuss that how the counter-terrorism strategies can be made. Moreover, guys, the India had also talked about that how into the present times there is a need to reform the United Nations Security Council, which has become a kind of an unrepresentative organization. By the way, guys, I must tell you that India is starting its the non-permanent membership into the United Nations Security Council in 2021. So India wants a kind of a permanent seat and not a non-permanent seat. Moreover, guys, onto the vaccine cooperation, also the Prime Minister had talked that the countries should come together and a kind of a vaccine nationalism needs not to be there. After that, guys, we had seen that the Sputnik 5 vaccine is being developed by the Russia and its trial will also be started into the Uttar Pradesh into the coming times. So, guys, these are all the broad themes which have been talked. Prime Minister has also talked about the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan and had said that the Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan is a kind of a process where India is exploring its own self-reliance. It is just a kind of a defense which has been made by India because many thinkers had called India's Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan as a kind of an inward-looking approach. So, guys, these are the broad issues which had happened here. However, nothing very concrete policy decision etc. had not came out. So, friends, that's all for today's newspaper analysis. I hope that you have understood all the articles and you're finding this initiative helpful. Thank you so much.